Got ice in my mouth. You see where Dick took that piece of ice out of that glacier? I see it right up there, don't you? I'm going to have a bearskin coat this winter. That bear scares me. He's huge. And he's for real. The guy's waiting to get through. Oh.
Drop him back there, we'll never get him again. No drop him. The old shed stamped you in the butt. Find out what happened. I give it to you when you said please. Good night. Good night. What's that? Yes. I got Randy's money. You got all that? Huh?
This is a Wolverine. This is a lynx up here.
Okay, I'll put it in your pocket. Only time you put it in. Don't you dare.
Where are we at? Rochelle. We're not talking.
I don't know where we're at.
Mile 117 of the Glen Highway. So we come about 15 or 17 miles away from Long Rifle Lodge. You still taking?
alongside the road, there's this little sod house, a sod roof, and a food cache alongside. Store your food up in the food cache so the bears can't get at it. And here's the pump where someone drew their water. Let's go take a look in the window. Pretty neat, huh? Come along the side, where wild delphiniums and fireweed grow, and a little pine tree. And there's the sled on top of the roof, just waiting for the next snowfall. There's a moose just
We're just outside Glen Ellen.
outside Glen Ellen
Richardson Highway.
on the Richardson Highway. There's a moose
I'll back up.
just here in this lake. He was taking a drink. We backed up so we could see him a little clearly. You might not be able to see him in this picture, but there is a great big bull moose. Michelle can't see him, can you? Can you? I can't see it.
Can't you see him?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I can see something, but I don't know what
No,
it
no,
is.
no. Cross down the other side. There's that Rochelle.
The Wrangell St. Elias Mountain Range.
Well, it's the Wrangell Mountain Range, St. Elias Park. Wrangell St. Elias Park. Just about by Copper Center.
That blue is so pretty, isn't it?
This is Wednesday morning, August 19th, and yesterday near Anchorage, Mount Spur, a volcano erupted. So now we got ash all over everything. I've been rinsing the cars off out here in the parking lot. I'm going to take a picture of a couple of them here, including the Mazda before I finish rinsing that one off. I already did the Suburban. I'm going to pull that up closer so I can rinse it off. Okay. think the cloud is still drifting this way, so we'll probably get more today. But we'll get as much off as we can right now.
Volcano dust that landed on all the cars. The cars had to be washed off this morning before anybody could go to work. This is washing off the Mazda. We woke up this morning and realized that a volcano near Anchorage had erupted. It's been acting up for some time now, and it finally blew. And from the west we got the volcano ash. It really is on everything. It's like a fine dust all over everything. And Mark would have a hard time driving away in this one today without washing it first. And Dick has already washed the Suburban.
Yeah, this is still Wednesday, July 19th, or August 19th. This is a stellar jay outside the kitchen window. Rochelle likes to leave birdseed out there for him. I think he's still got some of the volcano ash on him. You can see the old fuel tank out there that's got some of it. It's going to be relocated. You can see the stellar jays are much darker than the regular blue jays down the lower 48. We have a lot of those around here. I'll swing over on some of the construction stuff. You can see the dust on that. And I still haven't cleaned the boat off, so I'm going to get that cleaned off too yet. That was Mount Spur, about 80 miles west of Anchorage, that erupted 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The ash fell here probably between midnight and 4 a.m. this morning. This is 3:30 in the afternoon, still Wednesday. And evidently the volcano erupted twice more today in Anchorage. Now we've got a new cloud coming in. You can see it just hitting the west end of the lake there now. I've washed the cars twice today. And it appears I'm going to have to get out there again. You can see how clean they are right now. I'll get out again after this cloud goes by, which will take a few hours. If it's still light out, we'll see how much accumulation we got this time. I understand I washed the boat out, so I understand in Anchorage that they got almost an inch today. That's not fog that you see down there. That's ashes from the volcano, Mount Spur. I also washed off the porches here because it was...
in Valdez, and just taking a little walk through the museum today, Thursday, August 20th. This is a photograph of what the Old Town Valdez looked like before the earthquake. And this photograph is in the public museum in the city of Valdez.
This is downtown Valdez. We just had lunch at the Halibut House. This is Thursday, must be August 20th. This is as close as we come to McDonald's as McMurray's. It's the only fast food in town. We all had halibut baskets. Now, this is just down the street from where Rochelle and I lived right there, that building right on the corner of Valdez Hall. That's where we lived last year when Rochelle was in school. And you can see right behind there is the mountains up above town, State Building, Eagle Quality Center. We're going to go look at some of the houses that were moved from old Valdez when they moved the town back about 25 years ago. And there was a lot of the houses and some of the businesses were moved. We'll go take a look at some of those. This is the Valdez Visitor Center. It was decorated for the Gold Rush days. That's the celebration they have. It was just a couple weeks ago. Right in the parking lot over here is where the world record snowman was built last year.
Really?
80 feet tall.
Prince William Sound Community College. This is where Rochelle went to school here last year for 2 semesters. And wood carvings outside the college. 2 nice big bear, all made of wood. College is in a nice area. It's pretty cloudy today, so I can't really see the mountains, but maybe you can still get an idea. It's overlooking the parking lot. You can see the fire building in the distance. And then local residents down this road.
That bears were carved out of a tree trunk.
And then we'll go up in this area.
Told her to tell us that bear was carved out of a tree trunk.
That one over there is a smaller one, but...
This is Prince William Sound Community College dormitories. It's a lot of people come by here thinking this is the college, but this is where the college used to be, and they still keep the sign up here, which is a little confusing, but there's this huge carved statue and nice flower garden around it. There are 3 dormitory buildings, and I'll just go around to this one, because this is Valdez Hall, where Rochelle and Dick lived. And there's another one in the background here. And then the 3rd one would be Cordova Hall. It's Cordova Hall, Copper Basin, and then Valdez Hall, where we lived. Just take a little bit of pictures of the flowers and how they use the flowering cabbages as part of the plantings in here. Kind of pretty. Hope the colors turn out nice. I'll just pan around now and show you pictures of the mountains today. And waterfall in the background. State Building. Looking toward the harbor. And then our new Christian bookstore across the street. The mountains are still in the clouds today, although the sun is shining somewhat. It's a nice day today. Still little clouds and ash in the air. Every time we get in and out of the car door, we get dusted with a little more ash that's collected.
Okay, it's Friday, August 21st. Johnny and I went out for a couple or 3 hours out on the ocean. He caught a 12-pounder and I caught an 8-pounder. These are silver salmon. We're going to go back out tonight with Lloyd Laborde.
You want to get your picture anyway?
Okay, we'll clean these and go after some more. This is Saturday, August 22nd, I believe, isn't it? We're up on Thompson Pass. You can see the snow is pretty dirty from the ash from Mount Spur, so we can just scrape the top of it off and get fresh snow for the cooler. There's quite a few patches of snow. Like I said a few days ago, they got twice as much snow up here as we did in Valdez, so they got over 1,000 inches up here. Yeah, that's enough. We're on our way up towards Fairbanks today. We're going to take a couple days, go up to Fairbanks and swing over by Mount McKinley and just do some sightseeing up in that area.
Oh gosh, help me out.
I got to get a picture of that. This is a sourdough roadhouse. We're past Glen Ellen a ways now on the Richardson Highway. This is one of the original roadhouses that was on the Valdez to Richardson Highway. You can see it was established in 1903, and it's a National Historic Landmark. I think there's only a couple of them left that are the originals. Some of them have been rebuilt, but it's on the National Register of Historic Places even. They used to have these every few miles along the road, about 10 to 20 miles, depending on how far they figured people could travel in a day. That's about what they were. And there's some cabins over here too that you can get. The ever-vigilant watchdog, ready to attack. Some old caribou antlers over there. There's a lot of caribou in this territory. Around here there's a big herd. We're just down from Sourdough Lodge. You can see the caribou going through
Look at them all.
the branches there.
Wow. He's gone.
Yep.
You won't see him.
That was
A view of the pipeline as we're traveling along on our way to Fairbanks. I don't know if you can see it now, but it runs above the ground at this point.
Yeah, it's gone. We're at about mile 185 on the Richardson, just north of Paxton a little ways, between Paxton and Summit Lake. These are red salmon going up the Gulkana River to Summit Lake. And you can see they're bright red. Just the top of their head is green at this point. So they haven't got much further to go, but they've come all the way from the ocean up the Copper River and up into here. Several hundred miles. I'll see if I can get one in a little closer here. Sometimes they'll come in by these rocks, so on here. You see some over by the other side there too. Maybe you can see them anyway. When we were here 2 years ago, it was a little bit earlier in August and they were a lot thicker in here. There's some back there, but with the sun it's tough to see them. Here's one that's right close in by these rocks. I just came up a little bit farther. See if I can get down a little more. They're really expending a lot of energy against this current. It may swing back over here. We'll wait and see. I'll shut it off for a minute and see if he comes up a little closer. There's one clear over there. You can see with the two of them with their backs right out of the water. See how bright red they are. These are red salmon, otherwise called sockeye salmon. There was one making a fast trip down. It was probably all done spawning. Oh, this one's a little bit closer here. A little bit treacherous here. There's a couple more right straight across. Up close to the top, you can see them flashing around. A little bit farther upstream. That one's a little bit bad angle. I can't quite see that one. I'll shut it off and swing it. Okay, here's some upstream a little bit. Trying to fight their way a little bit farther. Pretty tough. They made it up past a few more ripples. They're still resting a little bit here. I'll try to get around on this one. Get it off for a minute so I can get a little better angle from right above. I'm just upstream from where I was a minute ago, right over the top of this one here. If the sun was out, you could see them a little bit better, but you can see this one pretty clearly, I think. A little bit farther upstream, a couple bigger ones. Going backwards. You can see some resting over against the island. They're pretty tough to see from this far away. Now swing over here, you can see some dead carcasses on the rocks there. Then you can see them spawning over in there, just past there. This is about the end of the line for most of them. You see a whole lot of them over there. Now that the sun is out, you can see them better maybe. Like I say, this is about as far as they're going to make it. These are some of the spawning beds in here on that gravel. You can see the big ones with the green heads. The rest of them's all red. This again is the Glacier River. It flows out of Summit Lake. We'll be going by Summit Lake in a little bit here. And we're a little more than halfway to Fairbanks from Valdez. There's one right down by that rock that I was standing on a minute ago. Just kind of hanging in there, a little bit quieter. Oh, there's three big ones right over there. Plus one out in the current that we got. This one, the closest here, maybe all done. He's probably on his last legs here. His next trip will be downstream. End up as bear food or gull food or whatever, eagle food even maybe. Yeah, that one is starting to roll over on its side there. I think you'll be going downstream here now from here on. We had a long, tough trip. This is the one that I think is probably all done spawning, about ready to die. In the wintertime we can see a lot of moose down in here. Of course the brush is all down then, and there's a lot of snow. It makes it easy with contrast to the moose. We've seen dozens of them as we drive along the highway down here along the Glacier.
Right on the other side of it.
This is a long lake. They do a lot of snowmobile and ATV. So it's wintertime. They're probably busier in wintertime than they are in summertime. There's a lot of glacier. There's a couple of them that drain in from up on the north side of Alaska.
What makes that green bottom?
It's probably algae, I would guess.
Looks way down, it ain't on the top.
Yeah, I see it.
We're pretty much up at the north end of Summit Lake, although we got ways to go yet, but this is Summit Lake Lodge. just going to stop in for maybe. They have really good pie, but it hasn't been that long since lunchtime, so we may not have any. Before those salmon pictures, Rochelle had tried to take a picture of a female caribou that we saw back a ways, but it was pretty shy and got off in a brush, so I don't think she got any of it. You can see one of the glaciers that feeds Summit Lake. It's way back up there. It's we'll go up that way. Isabel Pass is just up the road. That's the pass over the Alaska Range, or yeah, the Alaska Range. The Brooks Range is farther up north. These are some of the cabins that Summit Lake rents, and they're probably busier in the wintertime than they are in the summertime, even with all the snowmobilers. And they have big snowmobile races and so on the lake. We're just north of Summit Lake a little bit. This is just a view of the glacier. I believe it's the Gulcana Glacier feeds the river. Looks kind of dirty up there. And this is a monument here to, well, just in case you can't see it very well, Captain Wild P. Richardson presented the need of roads, 4 roads, to Congress in 1903. His familiarity with Alaska impressed Congress with his knowledge of the country and his ability as an engineer. When the Act of 1905 became a law, he was placed at the head of the Alaska Road Commission, which position he served for more than a decade. The Richardson Highway from Valdez to Fairbanks is a fitting monument to the first great road builder of Alaska. And so then here's his monument right here. We're just a little north of where I took the last picture. We're at Phelan Creek. And this is the pipeline coming in here. I thought it was interesting here. We can drop down and go under the creek. And come back up on the other side. Now, way down, probably out of range, but there you can see the pipeline way down going up over the hill there. It's above ground. Right above that sign there. That's the pipeline going up over those hills there. We're almost to Isabel Pass. We'll get a little bit higher yet. This is that spot where it goes up over the hill. And I'll just try to pan slowly back down here because it goes a long ways underneath this river. It goes back, almost back to where we took the other picture, 2 or 3 miles back. So it's right underneath there. I think it's pretty hard to tell here. I think it's probably right close to the edge for the most part, but it goes way back down that way. That's all underground because there's no permafrost in the river bottom. And where there's permafrost, and they come back above ground. And even then, the supports have to be insulated, and they have heat transfer units on them. This is part of the Alaska Range here. You can't see the tops because of the clouds, but there's some nice. Down the road another couple miles to see if we get a little close-up picture of these interesting colors in these mountains here. Quite a bit closer here now. Still can't see the top. We'll be following this river for quite a ways here now. Still 60 miles to Delta Junction and probably about 150 to Fairbanks. Yeah, so. Beautiful day today. We drove out of the range from Valdez and got up here and it's 65, 70 degrees. This is the Black Rapids Glacier. You can't hardly see any of the ice there, but it's been retreating for a number of years, so it's back quite a ways. But there's some beautiful mountain peaks with snow on them and a few clouds up around the top. Really gorgeous scenery. We're following this riverbed all the way on to the north here. Got quite a ways to go yet today. Well, as you can tell by the wind, I'll try to cover it up some with my hand, but it's really blowing up here. This is Black Rapids Lodge. This is also one of the original roadhouses along the Richardson Highway. The old sand roof on this section here is about done for. I guess it isn't too good a shape. Yeah, maybe we'll stay here tonight. Not. Down towards, we were at that scenic lookout just down the road, so the Black Rapids Glacier then is clear back over here now. See some of the peaks with the snow on it. So swing down this way. It's not cold, it's just windy. Swing down this way, you can see the dust blowing up in the river bottoms there. Gorgeous day though, really nice. Picture from the north looking back at the Alaska Range across the river here. You see all the dust still blowing on the river bottoms. I don't know how that'll show up with that sun shining right in there, but it's some beautiful views all the way across here. The wind's not blowing quite as much up here. I'm trying to cover the microphone some. It's not as it was when closer down to the river. Swing over here, you can see the pipeline all the way across over there. Gorgeous day. Clouds right at the tops of the mountains, covering the snow there a little bit. These peaks are typically in the 12,000 to 14,000 foot class. This is Delta Junction. We came down here. This is on the way to Fairbanks. This is the official end of the Alaska Highway. You can see by the sign here. Alaska Highway milepost 1422 and enters the Richardson Highway. So we just drove down the highway a little ways just to say that we've been on it. Of course, I drove up the Alaska Highway last year to Tok and then cut down to Glen Allen and then to Valdez. And Fort Greely, which is just outside of town, was established when they were building the Alaska Highway 50 years ago. We were just north of Delta. This is where the pipeline goes across the Tanana River on a big suspension bridge. See it suspended from the cables up there, just like a regular suspension bridge. Then the jog in the pipeline is to take up any lateral movement in case of an earthquake or etc. Just to show you how warm it is out here today, I'll show you a picture of a lady with a bikini on. Of course, it is a fur bikini. It's a gorgeous day, though. Really nice and warm. It's well into the 70s now, and there's not much wind right here. To give you some perspective, keep in mind the pipeline is 4 feet in diameter, and then there's 3.5 inches of insulation on each side of it, so it's pretty good size.
Oh, yeah, well,
We'll just swing down here. Somebody's been hunting here for caribou, and you see fresh horns up on top of the canoe, and they're loading the
Oh, you got a picture of it.
They're loading the meat into the boat now. Hunting season in a lot of parts here opens August 10th, so it's been open for a couple weeks almost now. We're in North Pole, Alaska, so naturally, who lives in North Pole? Santa Claus. You can see his workshop back there, and his elves, and his reindeer. I think are all there too. Yep, right there. This is Sunday morning, August 23rd, and this is Richard's house. This is the bed and breakfast where we stayed last night. Very nice. One bedroom with a queen-size bed, another bedroom with 2 twin beds. Nice breakfast this morning. This is in Fairbanks. Kind of on the outskirts a little bit, over towards off University. And after we checked in here last night, we went to had dinner at Godfather's Pizza and shopped at Fred Meyer's. We're going to stop this morning at the Muskox Farm. That's not very far away from here. It's run by the University of Alaska. And then we'll, I think, head down towards Denali. Must be we're ready to go. It's only about 8 o'clock, so we're getting pretty good shape. Oh, nice, yeah. Yeah, gorgeous. Be a nice day again today. Probably up here, probably in the 70s again. Well, we're at the Muskox Farm. It's run by the University of Alaska, Fairbanks. In the morning isn't the real best time to see them. A lot of them are still down, way down below there. You can just barely see them down there by the farm. But there is a couple of them up in here. And that one's headed out that way. So there's about 4 of them up in this upper pasture here. This is only about a mile or so from the bed and breakfast where we stayed last night. This is still at the experimental farm. This is on the reindeer and caribou side. I think these are reindeer right here. I think the major difference is reindeer are tame and the caribou aren't, but there's some other, I guess there's some other differences. Like the reindeer don't have as much white on them. You can see some big bulls laying down there. Way down you see the muskox going across by the mangers down there. I think that whooping sound you hear, that's sandhill cranes. I can't see them, but they were here a couple of years ago when we were here. Probably down. Here's one of the younger ones. It was just nursing its mother a little while ago, and there's another younger one back there following its mother. And way down there, you can't see it with this, but there's a red fox going across there right now too. Way almost down the other side there, just in front of that dark spot in the middle. That was a 747 just went over, kind of noisy. That fox is just moving away from that dark spot now to the right, but it's too far away. It's a nice big fox, big tail. We're in Nenana, just south of Fairbanks away. It's about 40 miles, maybe 50 miles south of Fairbanks, on the way to Mount McKinley, which we could just see in the distance a little while ago. Looks to be fairly clear today. This is Nenana. It's on the Tanana River. This is where they have the big ice classic, where they sell tickets, and you name the time and the date to the minute of when you think the ice is going to go out. And they have a big tripod like that out on the ice, and it trips the alarm automatically, so it tells them exactly when it goes out. First prize is generally well over $100,000 because a lot of people enter it. And that's been going on for a lot of years, about 70 or so, I think. People buy tickets from all over the world. This is just a little gift shop. We'll go over there in a little bit. Then down the road is the old railroad station. It's a museum now. We'll go there too after a while. We're still in Nenana. We're right across the street from the visitor center. Vivian's panning for gold here. Gonna try to pick something out.
I think they put food gold in here too. Right. No, I know that's not
Then we'll go back here. There's some more shops behind the regular gift shop. These little cabins here are all separate gift shops. We'll take some closer picture. There's some furs hanging there. He could probably show you how to get that gold out of there.
He's probably got a lot of it. Even his beard
We're still back in the same area. I'll swing over and get a picture of this fish wheel here. This is similar to the ones we saw on the Copper River. See, a Scandinavian idea brought from the Ohio area in the late 1800s, adopted by the Alaskan fishermen. The raft floats and the river current makes the baskets turn. Fish swimming upstream picked up by the lower basket, lifted to the upper level and slide down the chute to the box. The ones on the Copper River usually have a paddle on these extra bars here to help it turn over. You get another old prospector working at the gold panning here. I think they probably got it salted some, Johnny, I don't know. Yeah, right. Craftsman at work here, making a raven totem, looks like, in here. Put it out. Right behind Johnny is that tripod that they put on the ice. This one was from the 1977 classic, but they make new ones every year. But it trips the alarm when it goes downriver, and all bell sounds and the siren goes off, and everybody knows when the ice has gone out. It's also recorded electronically. This is salmon being dried. One of the dangers that they have to worry about is if it rains a lot, then it'll get rotten. So you have to have quite a few days of dry weather. Otherwise you can lose the whole thing. I'll get in a little bit closer and see what you can see where they cut across the flesh so that it dries out bed. Yeah, smells good, huh? Yeah. Sometimes this is what they use. They get a lot of it for their dog sled teams and so on, too. We're just across the street from the gift shops. I think the Taku chief got stranded here at high tide, and it's still here now. There used to be a lot of activity on the river, especially between here and Fairbanks. In fact, there's an old paddle wheel from one of the old stern wheelers that used to run here on the river. Not that. No, that one isn't. Oh. But we'll get back on the highway. You can see it then. This is still in Nenana. We're down at the old railroad station. It's now a museum. So we'll go on there. This is on the Alaska Railroad line, which runs from Seward all the way to Fairbanks. A total of about 470 miles. So we're about 60 miles from Fairbanks right now. And this is right on the river. That boat that we saw back there, the Taku Chief, was a tugboat on the river for a number of years. And finally it wore out, and they put it there as a kind of a monument. I'll walk over here and sweep down Main Street of Nenana, really about the only street. The old courthouse is down there. It's a crafter studio now. We'll probably stop there on the way out. at the Tatlaneka trading post, which is just south of Nenana, 15, 20 miles or so. It's a nice clear day. We've seen Mount McKinley a couple times. We'll get closer, we'll try to take some pictures of it. This is another place we stopped at 2 years ago. Interesting, a lot of old stuff in there. Old mining equipment and trapping equipment. And then there's a float plane out back where they get some water. And there's another old trapper's cabin here. And in fact, then there's another fish wheel over there. That's one that's got more of the paddles on the side. And this is an old sluice box where they would dump the ore in at that end and then wash it through there with water, and then the gold would settle in the frame there that looks like a ladder. This is a food cache, typical of what they would build up to put their supplies up where the bears couldn't get to them. The unusual thing about this is the legs itself, all the burls in those old willow trunks. Old dog sled up on top of the cabin there. This is inside the visitor center at Denali Park. These are the windows at the side. We're going to drive back in about 15 miles. To go farther, you have to take a bus, and it'll be too long. You're watching a bear movie in there right now, telling you what to do and what not to do when you get around bears. This is outside the visitor center. We're going to drive back in about 15 miles. Maybe have a picnic back there. There are buses available. Like I say, that's too long of a ride. It's a little bit chilly here when it's cloudy and it's quite windy. So. Yeah, we're back in Denali Park, and you can see there's about 4 caribou here that we get a picture of, fairly close to the road. We saw one farther back in there when we came up.
One right in back of that fourth one.
Okay, so there is 5 of them back here. Some pretty good sized ones there. We're on our way back out to the visitor center now. We've gone back in 15 miles, and that's as far as you can go by private car.
Oh yeah, that's a really good picture, isn't it?
Should be, yeah.
How many feet up?
Yeah, these are only about, maybe 50 yards off the highway here. We saw one earlier. It was about 300 or 400 yards back there. He was laying down. You could see his rack sticking up. It doesn't take much to hide when they lay down in some of this thick bush here. This is Sunday afternoon when we're on our way back out of the park. It's about 10 after 3, August 23rd. We're going to head for the Denali Highway and cut across to the Richardson Highway there. We've been traveling on the Denali Highway for the last 3 hours or so. It's all gravel. It's a total of 135 miles. We've come a little over 100 of it from Cantwell on the way to Paxson. There's a lot of, we've seen a lot of caribou hunters, some of them butchering their animals, so there's a lot of caribou around here. We just stopped for lunch on the McLaren River, which is right down there. Just barely see where the road goes back up the hill there. That's McLaren Lodge. We had big bowls of beef stew and bread, coffee, and lemonade. And back in the mist is McLaren Glacier, but we've been driving through some rain. It's almost 7:30. We've got about well, over 200 miles to go back to Valdez yet, so it's going to be late by the time we get back there tonight. As you notice, right by the hatchery on Daybell Road, we're not too far from the terminal. Johnny and I have been fishing today, not too successfully. We've had a lot of rain the last few days, and so there's quite a bit of water coming down here. This is really overflow from the dam up above. I'll just swing down around here. This is the water coming from the hydroelectric plant. When I get down there, I'll take a picture of the penstocks where the water comes down from the lake up above to drive the turbines. Now I'll swing around. That's the hatchery. And then all that snow up on top there is fresh snow. This is Wednesday, August 26th, and we got that on Monday night. Looks like everything above about 2,000 feet elevation got fresh snow on it. So it covered up all the dirty snow and so on. The dirty snow from the volcano eruption. You can see some sun shining on those down there. And in fact, they had blizzard conditions in Thompson Pass yesterday. One of the guys that drove down said he couldn't even see the drive up there. It was snowing so hard. These are the penstocks from Salmon Lake up above the power plant here. Just walk down here and see where the water comes out after spinning the turbines up. There's enough power generated here that the high lines run from here on up to Glen Allen and Copper Center. And places up there. So. And then there's where the power comes from up there. So what you see over in Solomon Gulch is kind of overflow that isn't used to run the turbines here.
That one off the nest now.
This is an eagle nest by the refinery just down the road from the hatchery. And that's one of the eaglets that was hatched this year, and there were two of them. One evidently just fledged a little while ago. In other words, he flew out of the nest, and they're trying to get this one to go now.
Pardon? No, those were a couple of ravens.
Pretty hard to see it, but maybe you can hear it. He's almost ready to fly out of there. If you can see it, it doesn't have the white on it yet. Of course, it's not a mature eagle, so they wouldn't have the white head or tail. Well, it's still Wednesday afternoon. We didn't do any good on the ocean, so we're down here on Robe Lake, just below the lake house. You can see the new addition on the left-hand side there. There's 2 bedrooms, 2 new bedrooms finished down, and then 2 upstairs will be finished next year. And we're going to see if we can catch some Dolly Varden, otherwise known as Arctic char. Clouds are hanging kind of down on the mountains. I'll swing back around towards the other end of the lake. The lake is 3 miles long, about 3 miles long. You can see the mountains. Those would be back towards the airport downtown or close to town. There's a float plane based on Ketchum's Flying Service, has some planes down at the other end. And then there's some private planes there too. Well, I won't turn this on again unless we catch some fish, maybe. No, we didn't catch any fish yet. But I thought you'd like this view here. Like I said, the snow just came 2 nights ago, Monday night. And I'm not sure, probably about 2,500 foot level, and I've probably got snow. Quite a bit of it, as you can see. And Thompson Pass is at 2,700 feet, so they get quite a bit. There's a waterfall right over here. You might be able to hear it, but you can't. It's so thick you can't see it. Even when you get right up underneath it, you can't hardly see it. Just see a little bit. I'll take a picture from the other end of the lake too after we get back there. That's where we put the boat in. There's a landing there where you just back the trailer down into it. Turned in a pretty nice day. Not real sunny, but pretty pleasant. We're using lighter tackle here than we were on the ocean. Of course, the ocean we use the heavier rods that are down in the racks here. 20-pound test line. This line we've got on here is about 6-pound test. Told you we'd take a picture of a fish if we caught one. It's not a very big dolly bar, I can tell you that. Hold it up for the camera real close so it looks big. That Meps is almost as big as he is. That Meps is about as big as he is. This is obviously going to be catch and release day. Going to be catch and release today. How's that? It is pretty, yeah. Yeah.
Looks like it's built like a trout.
Yeah, yeah. And this is the west end of the lake where we get the boat out. It's the opposite end from the lake house where we live. When we got here, there were 2 Ketchum planes. One had just landed, but they both took off while we were out there. So their planes aren't down here right now. So there's just the one, the private plane over there. Yeah, both of them took off while we were up there. This is a city facility. It's a picnic area and dock, and so it's quite nice. Robin's airplane. This is Thursday, August 27th. Johnny and I have been out here salmon fishing for silver salmon out by Gold Creek. We saw this little black bear come down by the water looking for something to eat, I think. We have got a couple of salmon in the box. Nothing real big, but we are catching something anyway. You can climb right up on the rocks there. We're also picking up a lot of weeds and rock and so on that tend to trip our divers. Reset them then. Well, he's going to climb up and pose for us, I guess. This is out past Mineral Creek. About 5 or 6 miles out of town. On Thursday. This is the Arco Juno outbound from the terminal out towards Valdez Narrows, loaded down with about 2 million barrels of crude. Significance of this tanker is that that was the first one to take on oil from the pipeline back in 1977. It's made quite a few trips since then. I'll have my partner open up the box and you can take a look at the fish now. Fish. No, just lift it open. Then tip it up this way a little bit here. We've also had a couple on that got off. Those aren't as big as the ones we got the other day, but they're probably 5 or 6 pounders. And hopefully we'll have a couple more before we go in. Yeah, that tanker just left the terminal, which is right over on the other side of the bay from where we are. It's Friday, August 28th, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We're out about the same place we were yesterday. People are catching fish all around us and they're jumping all around us. We can't get any boats, so I'm going to try to take a picture of them jumping. Oops, there was a couple way over there. Some of them are really close. Really nice big fish. Yesterday one of them splashed water right into the boat. We saw that little bear again when we first got out here today too. It was right over by that shore there. I think he was eating berries on the bushes. So the fish are here, but we can't get them to bite what we've got to offer them. Oops, careful. Careful, you got mine on there. Pretty hard to see them from far away. There's someone jumping way over there. Let's see if I can catch one in the act right out here in front of us somewhere. One just jumped right over here behind us. Right there, we can see. Right there. Gorgeous day today. It was almost sunny sunshine, in fact. There's one back behind the boat again. straight in front of us has caught about 4 or 5 of them in the last hour or so. We're casting today because that's where the action seems to be, but we haven't had any. Yep, I just jumped way over by that red and white boat. Naturally, I set the camera down. A great big one jumped right out here in front of me, right where I had the camera just a second ago. I just jumped there. Well, we'll try to catch them in the act again. They're jumping up. I'm just talking to the camera. Oops, there was a little one over there. About the time I set the camera down, it starts jumping again. So there was one. Jumping behind us again. I think I got that one. And that one. And that one. That one. That one. That one. That's more like it. Oops, there's one right here. One way over there. You can probably hear them splashing behind me. That was a nice one. Well, I'm still an optimist. I'm going to try to get one close to the boat here. Because they've sure been jumping close to the boat. You can see them out there about 50, 60 yards. So, right up in the air. Wasn't pointed right for that one. That one I might have got. That one I got. That one. That one was right here. Two of them. I don't think I quite got that one. People in that white boat with the red there just have got one on right now. I think we got him in the net. This is Saturday morning, about 9 o'clock, August 29th. You can see it's a gorgeous clear day. No snow clouds at all. Some of the snow has melted up, so we'll get more before the season's over anyway. And Johnny and I just had breakfast with the men from the church, and Rochelle and Vivian are in having their breakfast with the ladies now. And we came out to the container dock, is where we are now, which is where the cruise boats come in. And that's Valdez right across there. There's the dorms for the canneries out on the spit. And if we look across this way, there's the terminal, and then there's the dock. The people from the boat, cruise boat, some of them are out on there. I'll swing past this container quickly. There's Johnny down there. And this is the Uss Rotterdam. About 2 or 3 boats a week come in during the summer. We're getting right into the sun there. This is one of the larger ones. And you'll see the same ones quite often. We've seen that one several times this summer. Swing around and catch the mountains back here. Hanging glaciers and so on. They call this container dock. I just had to change batteries in here, so anyway, as I said, this is the container dock, because they ship things out of here in containers. And you can see the grain elevators there that have never been used. That's a whole story in itself. These are the mountains alongside the road going into town, and then the other face of them is where the town right there backs up against it. And this is again looking out into towards Valdez Narrows. I'll swing back around one more time. The terminal, people on the dock from the cruise boat, past this container right in front of me, and the Uss Rotterdam. And Johnny standing there keeping track of things for him. When the boat comes in, there's several buses that come and pick the people up and take them around to take them up to the Worthington Glacier and Keystone Canyon where the falls are, and some over at the terminal, and some of them downtown for shopping and so on. So there's usually buses coming and going quite a bit. In fact, one of the big gift shops in town has that. The Sugar and Spice gift shop has this mobile unit right out here, so they don't have to go into town to shop if they don't want to. Incidentally, this dock right here that the boats are on and so on is the world's largest floating concrete dock. Now here we are at Blueberry Lake, just below Thompson Pass, and we came up here. This is Saturday afternoon now, about 1 o'clock or so. We stopped for a picnic, just taking a little ride. It's such a nice day. This is Blueberry Lake. And there's supposed to be rainbow trout in this lake. You can see there's still plenty of snow left on the peaks up here, although it's melting off down around town. Nice and sunshiny. There are some green willow roses here. There's only 2 places in the world they grow. They were past their peak up on Denali Highway last week when we were there. But there's some here. I don't know how close we can get here. Yeah, we can almost get down there and see that.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
That's real.
And then there's some you can see that have already gone to seed that are dried out.
There's some in the bud. Got lemon in it. Good. Get water, lemon.
climb back away from the picnic area a little bit. This is looking back right down at Keystone Canyon. The low river. It's mostly gravel you see there, and then the road is the highway just to the left of that. It crosses over there on the bridge. Maybe you see the bridge. It crosses over where the creek comes down. That's right at the entrance to Keystone Canyon. This is the easy way to go mountain climbing. Just drive up the top and walk across the top of them. And Blueberry Lake is just back down over that little ridge there. That's where the Suburban is too. These are little red flower plants kind of growing almost right out of the rock there, but it's kind of moss.
They're gorgeous. They're such a bright, pretty red.
Yeah.
You get your pick and we'll see if there's any gold here.
When they start to die, they turn in orange.
Yeah, evidently.
Yeah, they lose their color. Looks pretty.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that before. I don't have any idea what they'd be.
Some kind of leaf.
Yeah. Maybe I can press it.
That's where Johnny and I were standing a minute ago up on that little rock. Right there. Yeah, we're almost back to the Suburban. That's Blueberry Lake behind it there. And way over there you can see where the highway is. We're in about a mile off the highway going up to Thompson Pass there. And then there's another little lake we'll go by. It's called Summit Lake. We'll go by that on the way out. It's just kind of over that hill there. It's smaller. That's also supposed to have rainbows in it. We're at the Worthington Glacier now, which is only about 20 miles from the lake house, just over Thompson Pass. And there you can see it's starting to break off. It's going to break off down into this little lake here. And it'll be an iceberg. That's the start of the Sena River. Well, the Worthington is pretty good size. You can see it goes way on up over to the ice fields up at the top of the mountain. There's some blue in there, you can see pretty good.
Want to walk under the sign?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I plan to. Yeah, there's holes in there.
Water running down the glacier.
Yeah, I know. I can hear it.
I can hear it right there.
Oh, my.
It'd be a little bit steep to get down there from here.
You can see as that sort of part of the section.
Yeah.
Middle.
I understand on the mountaintop. This is about it.
Oh, you got a long ways to climb yet.
I know to get on the
Look,
top.
there's some people way up there.
Oh, goodness gracious. probably equipped. Oh, no.
Okay, here's the car keys, just in case I don't.
Oh, don't say that.
As he takes a step down the side of this iceberg,
That kind of makes your stomach so far down.
getting closer to the iceberg.
Oh. Be careful you don't get your foot caught in a crevice.
He's on the iceberg!
Get
Yay!
up there, let's get a little better picture.
Yeah,
Get up there, way up
I
there.
want a piece. Bring me a piece of that glacier.
Water running right down the
I
side
know
of it.
there is. I can hear the water.
This is all ice.
Oh,
We're on.
I know. That's what I'm afraid of. There's so many big holes. I don't want to walk in them.
Worthington Glacier on a beautiful sunny day.
We're on a mountain, watching you
It's
go
kind of-
down in the valley.
Kind of dirty from the ash from Mount Spur erupted last week. And we see a lot of silt from that. Just ash from that.
Isn't that beautiful up here, that blue? Well, like we're so far up on the mountain, look at all them people in the
We
little
made it
walk.
back.
Hey! Our trusty guide made it back.
That's it.
Just looking the other direction from the iceberg. From the iceberg, I mean from the glacier. And yes, the sun was shining. Yay!
We're going down from Thompson Pass right towards Keystone Canyon. You can see the river down in front of us. Probably see the bugs on the windshield. Those are the snow poles on the side. They're about 15 feet high. That's so the snowplows can see where to plow in the wintertime. They have reflectors on them so they can see them at night, which it is most of the time. In the wintertime, it's mostly night. Kids go up to Thompson Pass, and mostly young people anyway, and ski down in the wintertime. They ski across country there. Not on the highway, they ski on the, kind of cut the angle on the hairpin turn there. They've got a tough job there. A long ways to go yet. That's what we're headed for. It's a long run from Thompson Pass, about probably 7 or 8 miles, all downgrade. Or upgrade, depending on which way you're going, of course. this way without looking through there and try to get the valley and the glaciers over in there. Back this way. You can see the low river down there coming into towards the canyon. Coming up on about mile 19. Our friend Hetty has a cabin right back this driveway right here. See that driveway there? Hers is back in. She lived there for 8 years. Up until 3 or 4 years ago, and she's 90 years old now. No water, no electricity. We're coming down into the... There are some moose in here, and bear, and wolves, and coyotes. And you'll see up here in a minute the Valdez city limits sign, which is about 21 miles from downtown Valdez. Straighten out towards Keystone Canyon, I'll probably turn it off. I think we got quite a few of them there. In the winter, some of the biggest avalanches come right down that gully right there. It builds up with a lot of snow all the way from the top, and then comes down, blocks the road sometimes. More often blocks the river, and then the river has to wash it out eventually, and it flows from. As you can see, there's a lot of waterfalls all over. Most of them don't have any names. You can also see the straight line where the horse and sled trail went in the early days. This is where the avalanches end up right here. Down that creek there. The low river just made a little loop underneath this two bridges here and then back out on this side. And it'll cross over again to get on the other side of us here in a minute. This is the bridge where it comes across, gets back on the other side. There's some falls right there. Most of them don't even have a name. lot more water in here 2 or 3 days ago after the heavy rains we had. A lot more water coming down the falls too. Yeah, we're coming up on Bridal Veil Falls on the left. Some other falls here. Cataracts, and I'll swing around because Horsetail is on the other side. There's Horsetail Falls right here. We're right on the deck of the house, and there's a bear right down there in the bushes. This is Saturday evening, about 7:15.